Third POV. With a press of a button, the next video played. Kaminari practically bouncing in his seat. The gods of thunder may endure eternal rule under their domains, but in the ring together, they are anything but mortal. Wiz began. Means that these immortal gods will still die to the death, idiot. Bakugu grumbled out without looking to Zero, whose mouth was open. The tape quirk user simply closed his mouth and turned back to the video. Ibara went down onto her knees, clasping her hands, and started muttering prayers out of forgiveness for this blasphemy. The mighty Thor, Prince of Asgard and the God of Thunder. Boomstick introduced the first fighter. And Lord Raiden, Defender of Earth Realm and also the God of Thunder. Wiz introduced the second one. Oh wait, I think I realize what universe this Raiden guy is from. Sestuna jumped from her seat and raised her hand. Well, don't keep us in suspense, which is it? Sen said. The same one with that creepy Shang Tsung dude. The one that stole souls from people. Setsuna answered. I think they said Mortal Kombat. Shang Tsung? Melissa questioned. He was in the second fight. Izuku answered. His main thing was that he can morph into other people and use their powers and steal their souls. How do you know? Aways asked further. Wiz just said that Raiden is the defender of Earthrealm, which is obviously Earth, and is the same name that they said in Shang Tsung's analysis. Setsuna replied. Well, that's assuming that there are no other universes that have Earth go by as Earthrealm, but that does sound possible. Suka said. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. Boomstick introduced themselves. And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Wiz finished the intro. Interesting, Nizu said. This fight will assuredly be a first. A first of what, Nizu sir? O might ask. A battle between gods. Nizu answered. While Kratos and Spawn came close, they were more god killers, with the only one that was an actual deity being Kratos. This, however, will be two actual gods. I sure hope that a battle of this magnitude doesn't cause as much ruckus as Kratos and Spawn's. All Might nodded in agreement, remembering vividly that chaos that ensued finding out about Izuku being both Kratos and Spawn in one for all's near reveal, the explanation to Aizawa, and young Tokage's eavesdropping. The first fighter's appearance was what the currently gushing Kirishima and Tetsu considered manly. The god was tall and large. His muscles so large that Deku could compare them only to All Might's and maybe Endeavor's, and his chest wide and built like a brick house. He wore a black bodysuit over his chest and to his crotch, for silver metal circular plates plastered on his wide chest, the two larger ones on his pecs and two smaller ones below them at his ribcage, and a yellow, golden belt around his waist. His legs were covered in blue pants. His feet clothed in golden and black strapped boots that reached up to his knees. His arms, up to his wrists, were bare, revealing incredibly powerful biceps. His wrists covered in black and red bands, leaving his large fists bare. A flowing red cape flowed behind him. A silver-winged helmet clothed his head, golden blonde hair flowing out the helmet and down his chiseled, square jaw and blue eyes. In his hand, he wielded a hammer, a short brown leather grip with a leather strap to one end and the other holding a stone-colored, rectangular metal of the hammer. Kirishima and Tetsu were staring in awe of the brick house of a being, and joined Kaminari in his excitement. Kuta joined their awe of the godly being as he saw Thor floating in the air with lightning thundering around him. Izuku, Momo, Ida, and Shishida leaned their seats, intrigued as to if this version of Thor was going to be accurate to the Norse myths or something different. The rest of the students were left intrigued by the very appearance of the god. Even Bakugu, who felt that the god of thunder looked like a Nordic version of All Might, blonde hair, blue eyes and large muscular figure. Towards the pros and teachers, they too were intrigued by the god, especially his physique, powers and his hammer. David and Power Loader pondered on how strong that hammer was and what it could be made of. For in Norse mythology, Thor is the god of thunder, strength, battle, healing and oak trees? Boomstick questioned the last domain. Well, regardless, this god was badass enough to get his own comic book. Huh? Kamakiri questioned. How on earth does a god of thunder and strength also be a god of oak trees? There are many gods in multiple different mythologies that have plants and animals as their sacred symbols or part of their list of domains. Shishida replied. For example, Athena, goddess of wisdom, had an owl as her sacred animal, but was also associated with olive trees. But why oak? Kozai asked. Oak trees were often struck by lightning due to their greater height and moisture content and compared to other trees. Bara pointed out. Perhaps the Nordic people mistook these trees being struck by lightning repeatedly being a sign of Thor. Now would be the time where Bakugo would yell about continuing the video and stop talking about plants and trees. But the students of 1A were left confused and taken back when the explosive blonde didn't. When noticing the stairs, he roared out, "What the hell are you extras looking at?" "Nothing," Kaminari said, throwing his hands up in surrender. While Bakugo turned back to the screen with a huff, Izuku and Kirishima noticed Bakugo peeking towards Shiozaki conversing with the rest of the 1B girls. Background. Full name. Thor Odinson the Mighty. Height, 6 feet 6 inches. Weight, 640 pounds. Secret civilian ID. Dr. Donald Blake. Skilled surgeon and medic. Guardian of Midgard aka Earth. Superiority complex. Avenger. Thor Odinson was conceived between the All-Father Odin and the Earth's elder goddess, or the Phoenix Force. It's complicated. Wiz revealed. But the intent of his creation was all the same, to create the strongest man in the universe. Say what now? Hagakure said. So this one-eyed Viking had sex with either the Earth herself or a fiery, all-powerful psychic chicken? Boomstick questioned. I guess no matter the pantheon, gods have weird fetishes. I'm guessing by your confused faces that this isn't in the myths? Kyuka asked, noticing the confused faces of the four. Indeed, Momo said. Thor was actually born of Odin and a Jotun, or giantess, but his mother would also often be confused for Frigg or Freya, Odin's wife. Neither of them were Gia, a Greek goddess, or whatever that thing is. It appears that we were right to assume that this Thor wasn't going to be 100% accurate to the myths. Ida noted. Superhuman abilities. Super strength. Supersonic speeds. Self-sustenance. Inexhaustible stamina. Superhuman durability. Super breath. Immunity to ailments. He can lift over 1,000,000 tons, move at supersonic speeds, never feels exhaustion, can survive without food, can survive the vacuum of space, and talk with frogs. Wiz listed his abilities. 1,000,000 tons. The students, and some of the adults exclaimed. Ribbit. Ajui croaked, taking interest in the speaking to frogs ability. If that's true then, he's even stronger All Might. Izuku gasped out in amazement. All Might's eyes widened at Thor's level of strength and agreed with Izuku. Even after my fight with All for One, I could have saved people continuously for 3 days straight before I felt remotely exhausted. All Might thought. Though I suppose as a god, he wouldn't really need sleep or food unless he likely fought another god of equal or greater power. He's immune to poison, burns, and electrocution, Boomstick added. And he can survive the heat of the sun or even a planet-bursting explosion. Well, I guess that's what happens when God bangs the earth, or a fiery avatar of life, or whoever his mother is. Okay, I think we can all agree on finding the newest, most powerful fighter ever. Setsuna threw her hands in the air, quite literally, in exclamation at the mention for surviving a planet exploding. Right, the group nodded in agreement. His immunity to electricity is obviously a perk of being the god of thunder. Izuku mumbled as he wrote in his notebook. Poisons are likely because of his godly nature, but as for burns, they could be because of that Phoenix Force. And at least we know what it likely is. Melissa said. An avatar of life. Maybe it's some other kind of god or deity. Uraraka replied. While Thor is not invulnerable, he is augmented by his godly status and a fraction of the all-powerful Odin Force, a powerful mystical energy used by the kings of Asgard, sealed within Mjolnir, his enchanted hammer. Wiz continued. Mjolnir, Pony attempted to say, confused. Huh. What kind of cheap-ass godly weapon is that? Monoma mocked. The handle and weapon as a whole is too short for such a weapon to be truly effective. Not how I would put it, but the thing does look rather small for a warhammer. Suka said. That's his weapon. Boomstick exclaimed, confused and in disbelief. That thing is way too tiny. Okay, maybe we were wrong. Kaminari whispered to Zero. Maybe Monoma is Boomstick's counterpart. Nah, too annoying. Zero whispered back. Even Boomstick is charming in his own way. Monoma's more of a dick. And Bakugu isn't. Kaminari whispered back. The two devolving into a fit of chuckle. Did you idiots forget who's right next to you? Kaminari and Zero paled drastically and turned to the voice of Bakugu, glaring at them with comical red eyes and snarling teeth. I mean, if he was the god of mending fences or something, I guess I could wait. Boomstick exclaimed as an image showed Thor slamming the hammer on a crystal rainbow-glowing bridge, creating a massive explosion of light and energy. Oh shit. Never mind. Jaws dropped in unison at the display of power from Mjolnir. Okay, I guess I was wrong. Itsuka muttered out, eyes wide in shock. Yeah, Yui said, her own expressionless eyes too widened in alarm. Mjolnir, bound to Thor, literally means crusher, forged from a star core, momentum-based flight, unbreakable, anti-force energy blasts, God blast, summons Asgardian power into a being capable of slaying immortals. Mjolnir is mystically bound to Thor and obeys him as if it were alive, such as tossing it onto enemies and summoning it right back to his hand. Wiz revealed. And if it were any larger, it would be too heavy to wield. So not only is it a hammer, it's also a boomerang. Snipe questioned. Well, I'll be. Not exactly as improbable as sword made of light or a sentient, alien, transforming robot. Power Loader noted. So it's not the size of his hammer, it's how he uses it, Boomstick said. Mineta chuckled pervertedly. Why do I feel like that was another perverted, disgusting comment? Momo questioned, annoyance plastered on her face. Because it was, Mina said, smirking at the perverted joke, before peeking to Izuku. Although with what May said, I'm sure Midori will definitely please with the size alone of his hammer. It was forged by dwarves using the power of the god Tempest, a cosmic storm the size of a galaxy, and the core of a dying star, was explained, which went supernova and killed all the dinosaurs. Setsuna practically screeched in horror at the last part, suddenly finding Thor not so great with wielding such a weapon. No wonder it's so heavy. Melissa gasped out, eyes wide. If they were to condense a neutron star into the size of a matchbox, that would be like lifting 3 billion tons. Izuku was writing in his notebook so fast that the rest practically swore that his notebook was steaming. That sounds overkill, Mina said, eyes wide too. Hell yeah, it's overkill and I want it. Kuga yelled. Hey box, give me my own hammer like you did giving those glowing crystals. Before the group could settle the teen down, the device paused, said, message received from Master Zayden. Do you wish to read it? The group looked to the screen in surprise. The teachers looking around to see if this watcher of the multiverse was currently spying on them from some kind of portal. Of fucking course, Kuga yelled. The device pulled up an envelope on the screen, it opening and revealing a single-worded message. No, the reaction of which consisted of laughter, a fuming and raging Bakugu that had to be dragged away from the machine from destroying it in, and May having to dragged away from Bakugu from destroying him. Yeah, forget anything I said earlier, I'm liking the Dino slaughtering hammer. Boomstick exclaimed excitingly. Where can I get one? Mjolnir can only be wielded by Thor. Wiz revealed. Until it didn't, after a god-slaying psychopath and a pirate spy said he wasn't worthy and he couldn't lift the dang thing. Boomstick revealed himself. Huh, Mina questioned. How does that work? Did he lose his super strength or something? Correct. Wiz agreed with Boomstick. Mjolnir can only be lifted by those who are worthy of heart and soul. That true, Deku. Urarka asked the green-haired teen. In Norse mythology, no. Eka said. The only reason Thor was able to lift Mjolnir, much less use it, at all was because it was incredibly heavy. Only with a magic belt and gloves that increased his strength could Thor lift and use Mjolnir. So this must be something unique for this universe. Whosoever holds this hammer, if they be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. Odin whispered to the hammer. Much like his father before him, Thor was considered worthy of wielding the hammer. Wiz continued. But after his encounter with Gorr, the God Butcher, and the original Nick Fury, Thor lost the right to wield Mjolnir and his left arm. Ouch! Hiss. Bad enough he couldn't lift his hammer anymore, but he lost an arm as a bonus, fuck you, from the universe. Ida stared at the image of Gorr, the God Butcher. His eyes narrowing as in his eyes. He looked disturbingly familiar to Stain. Since then, it was used by Thor's ex-girlfriend, Jane Foster. Boomstick said, showing a female version of Thor wielding the hammer, until she chucked it into the sun, to destroy an unstoppable god-killing monster from destroying Asgard, even at the expense of her life from deadly cancer, and destroyed it. So much for indestructible. She sacrificed the hammer and godly powers, and even condemned herself to death from cancer, to put an end to a monster and save innocence. All Might said, smiling. A worthy act of a true hero. There have been other Mjolnirs created as well. Wiz said, showing a golden different hammer and one with a long wooden staff, one end a hammer and the other an axe. Like the golden hammer of Stormbreaker given to the alien, Beta Ray Bill, and another universe's Stormbreaker that was wielded by another Thor from an alternate universe. That hammer axe one looks sick, Kamakiri exclaimed with a smile. But each one, Thor Odinson refused. Boomstick revealed. Even when wishing the return of his godly powers, he refused to take another man's hammer, and soon got a hammer of his own. And by that, I mean he got his OG hammer back and even became king of Asgard as a bonus. Now that's a manly god, Kirishima shouted. Izuku lowered his gaze as he recalled when he almost offered to give one for all to Mirio after he lost his quirk in the Hisaikai raid, and how he was willing to, and did, give up one for all to Kaken in their fight against Nine, only for the quirk to be transferred back to him miraculously. But what if it didn't? Izuku thought. Would I have been like Thor? Powerless, quirkless again. My chance at being a hero over. The teen then thought back to the smiling faces of Katsuma and Mahoro, and smiled. Doesn't matter anyway. If it meant those two's safety, even if I didn't get it back, I would do so again in a heartbeat. And there are other workarounds beside worthiness, Wiz said. Red Hulk once carried the hammer into space because Thor was still holding onto it. The screen showed an even larger, more muscled red-skinned man carrying the hammer and smacking Thor with it. Which may be one of the dumbest technicalities ever. Whoa, who the hell is that dude? Tetsu asked as he pointed at the red-skinned giant of a man. That dude looks ripped. He looks more jacked up than All Might. Don't know, Suka said. But the look on him and the fact he's fighting Thor makes me think that this guy would never have lifted that hammer. But even without Mjolnir, Thor's got more up his arsenal, Boomstick said. That was even worse than Pony's attempt. Reiko said, the American transfer student rubbing her neck embarrassed. Megingjord. Nordic title Megingjord. The belt of strength. Doubles Thor's physique. He wears the belt of strength with an equally unpronounceable name, which, surprise, doubles his already powerful might. Boomstick revealed. Is that the belt you guys said that Thor had that allowed him to lift Mjolnir? Jirio asked. Indeed, though in this universe, it seems it's merely a strength enhancer, Ida said. Which is rather overkill considering Thor's already so powerful. Momo added. And naturally, as the god of thunder, Thor can manipulate the weather. Wiz jumped in. Here we go, Kaminari said as he grew more excited. Godly powers. Weather manipulation. Lightning manipulation. Wind-powered flight. Earthquake control. Immortality. Warrior's madness berserk state. Healing powers. storms, tornadoes, the wind. He can even summon deadly bolts of lightning. Wiz listed. That looks so awesome, Kaminari exclaimed, looking at the massive bolts of lightning Thor unleashed. He also had some control over the earth, despite his actual mom being a fiery chicken. Boomstick jumped in. He can make earthquakes that spun entire continents. Okay, I think that is leagues more impressive than that Akuma guy shattering an island with a single punch, Miruko said, eyes wide in amazement and shock, much like the rest of the group. But yeah, if his mom was that Phoenix Force or whatever, then how does he have powers over the earth like Gia? Zero asked. It could be that Gia granted him those powers as a way to hide the truth of who his real mother was. Izuku answered. He can also fly using the wind and by propelling his hammer forward to carry him, is immortal, and has some healing abilities. Boomstick continued. Wait, so he can fly by tossing his hammer forward and ride it? Hagakure repeated, confused. I guess so, Mina said. Thor has fought and defeated many of the most powerful warriors in the Marvel Universe. Wiz revealed, including fighting, defeating, and even, eventually, killing Galactus, the infamous Devourer of Worlds and one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. The Devourer of Worlds. Uraraka stuttered in shock as she and the rest of the group looked at the large, purple, weird helmeted being eating planets in absolute shock and horror. He defeated that. Mineta screeched in horror. If these beings were to ever come to our world, Endeavor said, we wouldn't stand a chance. All Might finished his statement, a wave of dread flowing down him at the thought that these forces of pure destruction and power could come to their world. Feats. Master Marksman. Top flight speed Mach 32. Martial arts mastery. Viking, Celtic, Saxon, German, and American fighting styles. Overpowered the Hulk. Tricked Loki, the god of mischief. Can destroy adamantium. Escaped a black hole. Killed Galactus. Strongest Asgardian, Odin aside. He has mastered enough martial arts to box even Captain America to a standstill, and has even overpowered the Hulk, another of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. Wiz explained. Wait, that green giant guy looks almost identical to that red one, Kirishima pointed out. They even have similar names, Tetsutetsu said. Hulk and Red Hulk. I guess that means that they are related, or have similar origins and powers, Okoyami said. Although in the past, even without becoming unworthy to wield Mjolnir, he could lose his powers when separated from his hammer, Wiz revealed. Which is pretty stupid considering his main method of attack is throwing the damn thing. Boomstick replied. Yeah, that does sound weird, Melissa said. But perhaps it has to do with the distance between them, like if it were in another continent or dimension. But through some convoluted magic absurdity, this is no longer a problem, Wiz explained. In fact, he has no specific physical weaknesses, except by a magic elf that chopped his arm off and other god-powered stuff. Boomstick jumped in. True, and he does suffer from a superiority complex, Wiz continued, arrogant and eager to fight. He often ignores even the most perceptible risks. Well, when you are a god that can break continents apart, who wouldn't be a little arrogant? Setsuna said. Additionally, he is still a Norse god, and those of the Nordic people, Vikings, they were usually a violent and battle-hungry society. Jirota added on. Their version of heaven, Valhalla, is said to only be granted to those that die honorably in battle. Sounds like the way to beat him would be to use their brains against him, Sin said. But do not mistaken him for a mere battle-drunk moron, as Thor can be surprisingly intelligent and knowledgeable, was corrected. He is a skilled medic and surgeon, defeated the supervillain Magneto by using his knowledge of temperature demagnetization, has a knowledge of the occult, different religions, and cultures, fluent in multiple languages, and even tricked his own younger, adopted brother, Loki, the god of mischief, multiple times, once with a cardboard cutout of himself. I guess when you have dickhead villain brother that turns into a snake to stab you and also turn you into a frog, You have to be smart enough to see him coming, Boomstick said. Never mind, Sen said. So is that why he can talk to frogs? Shui asked. Because he once turned into one. If that's true, then Tamaki here can probably talk to any animal that he eats, Mirio said, patting the shy teen with a powerful pat that nearly sent the teen to the ground. He may not be one of the smartest of in the Marvel Universe, but there is no doubt that he is the strongest and mightiest. Wiz finished. I like him, Boomstick exclaimed. Thor smirked before whirling around and slamming Mjolnir into a frost giant, sending it crashing into the ruined wall. Next, Thor asked. The group thought over their opinions of the God of Thunder, mostly with praises of his sheer strength and power, and the pros nodding in appreciation that he was a hero from where he came from, some shuddering in horror at the thought of facing that kind of force in a villain. The second fighter wasn't as physically gifted as Thor, but his appearance was still more godly and unique compared to the average man. The god too was tall and had a wide chest and muscle under his outfit, said outfit being a bold blue robes over white, Shaolin monk-styled robes. The blue robes covered the sides of his chest and down to his crotch, a black belt around his waist, armored pads on his shoulders, and an amulet on the left side of his chest. The amulet bronze and golden and circular, while the middle was encrusted with a blue gem with a dragon insignia. Dark gray wrist guards and ankle guards were strapped to his wrist and ankles up to his knees. His most distinguishing features, however, were the long wooden staff with a metal end that he often wielded, the large round straw hat he wore, and his eyes pure whitish blue and often sparking in blue lightning. Ojiro and Itsuka stared at the second god of thunder, noting that his Shaolin-styled clothing could perhaps indicate that he has knowledge of martial arts. Kaminari was likewise excited to see another god of thunder, perhaps this one showing more actual lightning powers than Thor if the glowing blue eyes was something to consider. The heroes and teachers could sense that this thunder god looked more wise and disciplined compared to Thor. Raiden. According to Japanese legend, Raiden is the god of thunder and storms, who, when angered, devours the stomachs of children as they sleep. Wiz began the analysis of, child haggis. Just like Mom used to make. Boomstick joked. Eri and Kuta squirmed and held on to Deku, Eri holding her stomach as if Raiden himself was going to appear and eat her stomach. Well, whenever he had his fill of defenseless, sleeping children, I guess he decided to protect the earth from evil. Boomstick continued. Background. Full name, Lord Raiden. Height, 7 foot. Weight, 350 pounds. Age, eternal. Protector of Earthrealm. Martial arts mastery. Jiu-Jitsu, Nanchuan, Judo and Taekwondo. Raiden is the defender of Earthrealm, and is a key leader in shielding it from the forces of the ruthless, evil Shao Kahn's outworld. Wiz explained. Tasked by the elder gods of the realms, he, along with his fellow demigod, Fujin, god of the wind, and his Earthrealm champions, they safeguard and fight for their realm in the bloody tournament of Mortal Kombat. So it is the same world where Shang Tsung is from. Suka said. Knew it, Setsuna exclaimed in victory. Elder gods, Midnight said. What, are they older than him or something? It could be that they are the oldest and most powerful gods of their universe, and this Raiden and Fujin are their younger counterparts and enforcers. Nizu said. He's a master of several different fighting styles and amps them up with powerful electric attacks. Boomstick jumped in. Sometimes wielding a wooden staff, but generally prefers his fists. So while Thor focuses on pure strength and power, Raiden is a more combat-centered and lightning-based fighter. Jiro said. Hey Midoriya, think you can write down some of his lighting-based moves if they show up? Kaminari asked. I think they would work well with my quirk too. Sure thing, Deka replied. From the mobile kicks of Taekwondo to the anti-armor combat of Jiu-Jitsu, Raiden's wide variety of fighting styles complement each other perfectly to take down any kind of opponent. Wiz said. Fast, mobile strikes to keep your opponent on the defensive and Jiu-Jitsu to be able to break those defenses and overwhelm them. Suka said. Now I'm interested. Special moves. Lightning shots. Vicinity blast. Shocking touch. Electric fly. Electric slide. Teleport. Fatalities. This thunder god uses several lightning-charged special attacks, Boomstick said, like the vicinity blast, electric fly, lightning shots, teleporting and shocking touch. As he listed them, the screen showed Raiden performing said attacks, from teleporting in a flash of blue lightning, unleashing bolts of lightning, and flying at his enemies with lightning. Given Kaminari's quirk, I think the only way for him to use Vicinity Blast is if he can discharge his electricity between his hands, and maybe he can increase the range by placing his discs around him to make a cage of electricity. The lightning shots probably only work with his disc unless he can unleash it more precisely. It looks like something Nijire could do better for more accurate blasts. Teleporting electric fly won't work for him either. Although maybe as he has a way to discharge his electricity through his feet and with a support gear, he can mimic the flight aspect of it. Actually, maybe Nijire can do the electric fly given Tat she can fly, although she would have to focus her waves on fists rather than blasting them. The shocking touch is one that Kaminari already does, but maybe he can extend it by using his disc to make a sort of tripwire made of electricity. The students looked on as Deku was lost in Mumble's stream. Comical sweat drops on their heads while the girls chuckled fondly. Kaminari smiled appreciatively at Midoriya, finding it cool and touching that he was devoting so much brain power to help him become stronger. "Thanks, man," Kaminari thought. "You're the coolest." Nijire meanwhile smiled brightly at Deku, also making notes to help her out. She giggled and swooned so hard that she couldn't take it and tackled the teen into a bone-crushing hug, snapping the green-haired teen and making him go blue at the rapid loss of oxygen. Not to mention when finishing his foes. He discharges so much electricity into them that they combust with multiple different fatalities. Boomstick continued, showing Raiden discharge bolts of electricity into a blonde woman's head until it exploded into pieces. "Okay, maybe you shouldn't try that, jamming yay," Kyuka suggested nervously. "Why yeah, not really hero-like to explode someone's skull into pieces." Kaminari agreed, rubbing his neck. The sheer power of these lightning attacks apparently can overload his brain, causing him to spout out random gibberish in mid-attack. Boomstick finished. "Inibmani!" Raiden yelled gibberish as he electric flied into a muscular black man with metal arms. The students burst out laughing at the random, almost undiscernible gibberish of Raiden. "What did he say?" Mina asked. "I think it was 'I need money,'" Uraraka answered. "Wow, Uraraka, how did you figure that out?" Hagakure asked. "Practice," Uraraka replied. "Mostly from figuring out Deku when he mutters." The girls giggled and the guys laughed as Deku blushed. "True, but I think it's more like Kaminari when he's in that dunce mode of his." Kyuka laughed, remembering Kaminari's dunce face, gibberish and hand gestures. "You think you insult me, Jairu, but I take it as a compliment," Kaminari said smugly. "I chose to believe this is a sign that I will be Raiden's counterpart." "Well, you're not wrong," Shui said. "That overloading his brain thing is your whole thing. How much you think that he jinxed himself by saying it's him?" Siro whispered. 100%. Bakugu simply replied. "Godly powers. Ethereal energy composition. Weather manipulation. Electricity manipulation. Flight. Healing powers. Immortality. Eventually reincarnated after death. As an eternal god, Raiden is entirely composed of ethereal energy and can morph into various forms of electrical force," Wiz explained. With this trait he gains teleportation, flight, and unlimited endurance. That explains his teleportation and flight, and if he is made up of pure energy, it makes sense that he can't be reasonably tired. Momo said. Maybe he can morph into various forms of electricity to evade Thor's attacks or absorb them. However, if he can't absorb all the energy, then maybe he could absorb too much and explode in an overload. Ida replied. And like any other thunder god, Raiden has all sorts of control over the weather and lightning. Boomstick added. Raiden has so much power. He can even achieve scientifically impossible feats, like channeling electricity through insulated wood. Wiz added also. "I'm sorry, what?" Made it a double take. "Haha, take that physics." Boomstick chuckled. Well, he is a magical god, Suka said. Things like physics aren't exactly things that they follow. Feats. Most powerful mortal combatant. Held off limitless power Kano. Has mastered 750 varieties of jujitsu. Was the last man standing against the deadly alliance. Defeated the Hovan necromancers. Can channel electricity through wood. Defeated Shao Kahn and prevented Armageddon. He is one of the most powerful characters in the Mortal Kombat universe, was said, and has successfully defended Earth for centuries. He eventually became the all-powerful Elder God of Earthrealm, but relinquished this power to protect the people of Earth. What? Boomstick questioned. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I mean, why would you give up being an all-powerful god with so much power and then give it up to protect Earth? Kitsuna asked. I mean, couldn't you use that power to protect Earth? Maybe it's some kind of rule where elder gods can't interfere because they are too powerful, Wu said. It could explain why he would give it up. Well, while he is an immortal, formless god, he isn't indestructible and has limits, was clarified. In order to fight among others, especially mortals, he must take a form susceptible to mortality. I believe this is the saying, level the playing field. Okoyami said. Yeah, not exactly a fair fight if you can't die, Sun said. But he still retains all his godly powers. Boomstick jumped in. And is tough enough to effortlessly smash through solid concrete. So he lets himself become mortal to fight, but still has all his god powers, Mina said. How is that, leveling the playing field? When faced with the possibility of death, playing fair and holding back is luxury that cannot be afforded. Izawa answered. It's irrational. There will be threats where you can't hold back or limit yourselves, because they won't do the same for you, and your reluctance could lead to lives being lost. Through his numerous successes in defending Earthrealm from impossible odds, Raiden has proved his greatest attribute to be his leadership and wisdom in battle, was said. He is a cunning and daring strategist, willing to make whatever sacrifices necessary to achieve victory. Like this guy, Boomstick said, showing Shang Tsung hold up a young man by his hair. That guy. The screen showed the Asian shirtless fighter that fought Shang Tsung, but now as a zombified version of his former self. And all of these guys. The screen showed multiple people dying, including a young man with a cool hat having his neck snapped from behind, a scantily clad, long-haired cave in a policeman's face with a single punch and ripping out another scantily clad woman in green stomach, a Native American-looking man being disintegrated, and the Asian, shirtless fighter rushing to attack Raiden, only to get blasted by his electricity and become consumed in flames and lightning. Raiden, a physical example of sacrificing others for the greater good. Holy crap! Kaminari cursed. The students felt ill at the sight of so many gruesome deaths, some gulping as they tried to keep their lunches down. Izuku and Mirio covered Kuta and Eri's eyes from the carnage, while the heroes looked on with narrowed eyes and stunned faces at how brutal this world was. In context, in the final battle of Armageddon, that would decide the fate of all the realms, the evil Shao Kahn claimed victory and became the all-powerful one being, with only he and Raiden left standing in the end. Wiz began explaining, as it showed Shao Kahn mercilessly beating a defeated Raiden as everyone else was dead in numerous ways. To prevent this dark future from occurring, Raiden used the last of his powers to send a message to himself from the past. After multiple visions of the future and in his desperation to succeed, he would make a foolish, desperate plea to the elder gods to intervene, only to leave his fighters defenseless that led to their deaths aside a few. This sprouted a rift to form between him and his greatest champion and successor, Liu Kang, that led to their own clash and Liu Kang's accidental demise. So he fought against Raiden because he was pissed his friends died? Nijire questioned. It seems so, Tamaki muttered. Maybe it was also because of that woman who died whose hand he held. He seemed close to her. So he turned on his boss because he had the hots for a chick? Bakugo said. That's fucking stupid. Wait, how is being shot by lightning and being set on fire accidental? Boomstick asked, confused. Liu Kang's mystical dragon fire expanded and reacted violently with Raiden's lightning. Wiz explained. Although lesser in power, the two magics collided and wreaked havoc on Liu Kang's body, ultimately killing him and cursing Raiden's name in death. But even with his death, Raiden would defeat Shao Kahn with the aid of the Elder Gods and save Earthrealm from Armageddon. The greatest of victories sometimes come at the gravest of costs, All Might said. Hee. Raiden, this version having long white hair. Sorry. The group thought over Raiden and his powers, some believing that Raiden's martial arts and wisdom would take the victory of Thor, and the others feeling that Thor's strength and power would be enough to take it. All right, the combatants are set, Wiz said. Let's end this debate once and for all. It's time for a death battle, Boomstick exclaimed. As the video paused and the device scanned as usual, the votes were cast. The most significant of votes for Thor were Bakugu, who favored Thor's strength and power more, Endeavor, who followed the same logic as Bakugu, Melissa and May, who were more intrigued by Mjolnir, Jirota, believing that Thor's sheer strength, coupled with his intellect and abilities, would take the victory, Kirishima and Tetsu, who liked Thor's more physically imposing appearance, Maruko, who claimed his strength and infinite endurance would take the cake, Ibara, who liked his domain of oak trees, Azui, who liked Thor's ability to talk with frogs, Nizu and Izuku, who felt that with Thor's immunity to electricity would be useful. Those who voted for Raiden included Kaminari, who liked his more clear use of lightning and still convinced that he was Raiden, All Might, who appreciated the man's wisdom more, Ojiro and Itsuka, who liked Raiden's martial arts, Momo and Ida, who believed that Raiden's greater wisdom could outsmart Thor's, Aizawa, who respected Raiden's more strategy and cunning than Thor's recklessness, Nijire, who she voted for his lightning powers and because of Izuku's analysis, Kamakiri, who liked the brutal aspect of Raiden more, Mirio and Monoma, for Raiden's sheer power over lightning, Setsuna and Mike. Multiversal counterpart detected, the device said as it finished its scan. Thor Odinson. Multiversal counterpart. Toshinori Yagi aka All Might. Well, I shouldn't be surprised that you of all people would be Thor, All Might, Izawa said. Powerful yet reckless. All Might's sweat dropped at Aizawa's compliment/insult. Next is Raiden, Kaminari said excitingly. Watch. It's going to say me and I'm going to beat All Might. And cue disappointment in 3, 2, 1. Lord Raiden. Multiversal counterart. Toshinori Yagi aka All Might. Nunu. Kaminari wailed. Called it, Hyuka said. Although, why is All Might both of them? Momo asked. I understand Thor because of their strength and both being a little reckless. But why Raiden? Izuku pondered for a moment for replying with, maybe because Raiden is like the strongest fighter in his world, much like All Might is ours. Also perhaps because Raiden is the protector of Earthrealm, is similar to All Might as the symbol of peace. That does make sense, Mina said. Plus, I can't picture Kaminari as a wise, old leader even if I tried. Hey! Kaminari shouted. While they argued, Izuku pondered in his mind more reasons. It could also be that just like this Liu Kang was Raiden's champion and successor, All Might has one in me, Izuku thought. But that would only make sense if I was Dash. Additional counterparts detected, the device voiced, snapping Deku from his thoughts. Liu Kang. Multiversal counterpart. Izuku Midoriya. Izuku and All Might froze. The scene of Raiden accidentally killing Liu Kang and Liu Kang blaming and cursing Liu Kang for his death not sitting well with the 8th and 9th wielders of One for All. The girls also took the death of their crush in another life not well either, with Melissa practically latching onto Izuku's hand as if he was suddenly going to vanish on the spot. Even Bakugo froze at the thought of Deku dying. Even worse at the thought that it was All Might's own counterpart that did it. What a cruel thing irony is, Gran Torino thought, not wishing his thoughts voiced to the clearly sad successor to his friend beside him. From what you told me about your meeting with him, Toshinori, especially that stupid way you told him no at first, I wonder if this is some form of punishment. Just as you nearly killed his dreams, you took his own life in another. Fujin. Multiversal counterpart. Mirai Sasaki aka Sir Nightai. Nightai? Mina questioned. Isn't that who you had your work study with mid-dash? Mina stopped her question as she looked at Deku, whose hair masking his eyes and frowned made it clear that he wasn't exactly happy to remember the now-dead hero. The same applied for Uraraka, Azui, Kirishima, Ryukyu, Aizawa, Fat Gum, Nijire and Amajiki, all of whom were involved in the Hisayakai raid in which the pro gave his life for. All Might slumped at the mention of his former sidekick. The sight of Mirai's hole in his chest and his last moments and smile still burned into his mind. Well, at least you were by my side in another life, old friend. He thought and chuckled sadly. Mirio froze too, looking at the image of Sir Nightai in front of him, reliving Sir's injury, his final prediction and death. His smile turned to a frown and tears began to crack from his eyes. He felt the tug on his arm, snapping from his grief to look at the responsible party, that being Eri. She looked at him curiously and asked, "That was the man who helped save me too, the one that was hurt? I haven't seen him. Is he all right?" Mirio froze, unable to come up with what to say, whether to lie to her or tell her the harsh truth. A world without smiles and humor has no bright future. Mirio remembered Sir's last words and his final smile. I can't tell her. Not yet. Mirio thought. She wouldn't understand. Or worse, she will blame herself. I can't see her smile disappear or lie to her. Yeah. Mirio replied to Eri, a bright smile on his face and tears in his eyes. Sir is fine. He's gone off to a better place to rest. He's all right and happy. Eri blinked in confusion before smiling, and Mirio felt his heart both light up in joy to see her smile, and clench in guilt over a half-truth. Jane Foster, multiversal counterpart. Enko Midoriya. Huh! Izuku and All Might simultaneously shouted. Why is Auntie Ang there? Kugu shouted. Wow, we found one of your mom, Deku. Uraraka said excited. And she also was Thor too. Isn't that cool? Why yeah, I guess so. Izuku said, smiling at seeing how his own mom was a hero in another world too. True hero like All Might said. At the mention of All Might, Izuku's smile quickly turned to a frown. Wait, he thought. Jane Foster, mom's counterpart. They said that she was also Dash, All Might's girlfriend. Both he and Todoroki thought at the same time. While Todoroki kept that mental note for his dad Might theories, Izuku whirled to look towards All Might, who despite his efforts to remain still, was shaking like he was in a vibrating chair, nervous sweat pouring down his entire body, his blank eyes trying and failing to hide panic. Well, looks like the kid's on the right track. Gran Torino whispered to All Might. How long before you tell him and about you and his mother? In my eulogy, All Might answered. After settling down, the video began again with the fight. The scene began with Thor facing away and towards the horizon, his cape bellowing in wind as the sky was cloudy. In a flash of lightning, Raiden teleported and appeared before him. The two turned to face each other. Fight. Raiden fired a bolt of lightning at Thor as he backflipped away before landing and firing another bolt of lightning. He's keeping his distance and attacking from afar, Izawa said, using his projectile-based powers to test out Thor's own abilities and keep away from his hammer. Thor swung his hammer and smashed the bolt of lightning away and blocked the second with the hammer too. Thor proceeded to toss the hammer towards Raiden, the protector of Earthrealm, teleporting away as the hammer sailed past where he was. The hammer froze in midair before flying back to Thor's hands. Seems like this fight is going to come down to speed and wisdom versus strength and defense. Momo analyzed. Thor can easily withstand anything Raiden can throw at him, while Raiden is wiser and faster with his teleporting. Raiden appeared behind Thor and unleashed a flurry of kicks, jabs, and punches on the Thunder God before uppercutting him to the sky. Raiden teleported again and appeared where Thor flew to and began striking at him with another flurry of attacks. He teleported once more and attacked him from behind before teleporting away as Thor attempted to swing his hammer at him. Damn, my man's beating him down. Kaminari cheered for his fighter. He's using his speed to strike quickly and using teleportation to easily dodge Thor's more slower attacks and attack from behind. Endeavor said. Smart strategy given who is clearly the physically strongest. Raiden would attack from behind with a teleporting kick before teleporting again. Thor swung his hammer to try and strike at the god as he appeared behind him, but Raiden teleported away. Thor would continue attempting to strike at Raiden as he appeared behind him, only for the other thunder god to teleport away before the hammer hit him. Thor knows that Raiden is trying to attack him from behind and is attacking at his behind. Jirota said. Clearly he is a seasoned warrior to quickly predict such tactics. But Raiden is too quick, Rin said. He's teleporting away before he can hit him. Come on you hammer-wielding pretty boy, Kuga shouted. Just hit him. Don T just float there and take it. Raiden would teleport kick him from behind again before teleporting in front of him, grabbing him and tossing him down to the ground. As Thor hit and bounced off the ground form the force, Raiden appeared in front of him and unleashed the vicinity attack on the midair Thor, sending him flying back. Thor bounced and rolled off the ground till he was on his feet. He raised his hammer to the air and yelled, "Have it thee!" A large bolt of yellow lightning fell down and flowed towards his hammer. Mighty spark! Thor yelled again as he fired the blast of lightning towards Raiden. Raiden stood still and raised his hands as the lightning gathered and spun around him, the yellow lightning turning blue, before firing it back towards Thor. He just threw his lighting back at him, Nina said. They are both lightning users, so it's reasonable that they can't be hurt by lightning either, Izuku said. Thor spun his hammer in front of him in a circle, shielding him from the lightning. Thor jumped up and towards an oak tree, the tree flying up into the air as he landed. Thor punched the tree and sent it flying towards Raiden. Ha, I guess the oak tree fact came in handy somehow, Setsuna said shrugging, as the oak tree flew closer to Raiden. He fired his lighting, the tree exploding into pieces. Alright, and he can also defy physics and destroy wood with lightning easily, Setsuna continued. Thor slammed his hammer onto the earth, creating an earthquake that had the Japanese god of thunder stumbling and wobbling as the ground shook. The hell are you standing around for? Kamakiri yelled. You can fly. So fly. As if hearing him, Raiden jumped into the air and flew, lightning sparking behind him in a trail. Thank you, Kamakiri shouted. In the distance, Raiden was seen flying and yelling gibberish. Johnny Synthakar. Ha, there's the gibberish. Kyuka chuckled. What did he say this time, Choco? I don't know, but I think it was something like, Johnny's in the car? Achiko said, herself confused. Thor took to the sky himself, Mjolnir being swung and circled again as he hovered in midair. He swung the hammer forward and flew towards Raiden. The two flew at high speeds towards each other before crashing in a burst of lighting. Awesome! Kuda cheered. Yeah, they both look so cool. Deku fanboyed. Just as strong as All Might. The screen zoomed to see Thor drop-kicking Raiden, sending the former Elder God into the side of a mountain. The Thunder God bounced off and flipped down to the ground, running towards Thor. The Norse God tossed his hammer at Raiden again, who teleported again, the hammer bouncing off the mountain and into Thor's hands. Stop teleporting and fight like a real man, Tetsutetsu yelled. Raiden continued running before jumping into the air and firing multiple bolts of lighting. Thor jumped towards him, smacking away the bolts with Mjolnir. He kicked the Japanese god in the chin before delivering another kick that sent the god upwards, Thor flying up and slamming his knee into his chest, the god flying and bouncing off a hill before landing in a slide on the ground. Now that's more like it, Tetsutetsu yelled. Thor has the upper hand, Midnight said. Raiden's lightning bolts can be easily smacked away and Thor's physically more stronger than him. Thor landed as Raiden slid to a stop, grabbed the fellow thunder god and head-butt him, stunning him. The Avenger then slammed him into the ground before jumping away. Oof! Itsuka cringed, rubbing her head. Yeah, I felt that. Thor spun his hammer above him, the wind picking up and swirled around him, a tornado forming around him. Thor's using his weather powers. Hagakure cheered. Actually, now it makes more sense why All Might is Thor's counterpart, Mount Lady said. Both of them can make tornadoes, like when All Might defeated the slime villain. Ha, you're right, Pixie Bob said. Makes a ton of sense. Plus they are both blonde, blue-eyed, and look like massive hunks. Well, not anymore anyway, Ragdoll reminded. Raiden teleported behind Thor as he was forming the tornado. He unleashed a flurry of lightning bolts, the Norse god of thunder blocking as many as he could before being overwhelmed. Raiden shouted as a large bolt of lightning crashed down onto him from the heavens and slammed it down onto Thor, stunning him. As Thor wobbled, stunned, Raiden uppercut him to the sky. Thor slowed down to a hover, Raiden appearing before him, the two clashing in a series of punches and strikes in midair. This is sick, Kaminari exclaimed. They are fighting in midair like a bunch of gods. Manly, Kirishima shouted. Raiden grabbed Thor and attempted the shocking touch on him, electricity enveloping Thor. Thor broke free from his grip, his body smoking but unfazed. Away with you! Thor yelled as he punched Raiden towards the ground. Thor is immune to electrocution, Melissa said, meaning that Raiden's shocking touch did nothing. Wait, if he can't get hurt by electricity, then why was he stunned by the bolt of lightning before then? Jiro asked. I believe it was the impact of the lightning bolt that hurt Thor more than the electricity, Mizu answered. While the shocking touch is simply discharging electricity similar to a taser, but in comparison, it could seem more like a pinch than actually hurting. Raiden slammed into the ground below Thor, the Avenger spinning his hammer above him, yellow lightning sparking around him as if charging. Heaven's wrath! Thor yelled as he flung a massive bolt of lightning down towards Raiden. Raiden looked up to the bolt of yellow lightning as it crashed onto him and enveloped him, a bright white light flashing from inside the tornado. That definitely should have done it, Nina said. Unfortunately not, Ida said. While Thor can't be harmed by electricity, neither can Raiden. He most likely absorbed it. Raiden stood there sparking with an influx of blue lightning around him, unharmed. He looked up towards Thor and zoomed towards him, yelling gibberish again. Just as Raiden reached him, Thor swung his hammer hard, Raiden's lower body exploding into bloody pieces. No! /yes, the student voters yelled. Thor quickly grabbed Raiden and flew upwards, above the clouds. Farewell! Thor yelled as he tossed Raiden to the sky at super-fast speeds. Raiden flew out of Earth and towards the sun, the protector of Earthrealm reaching and being enveloped by the sun. KO. The Thor voters cheered while Raiden voters sighed in defeat before clapping respectfully. He literally threw him into the sun, Kirishima said. Manly. And godly. Tetsu joined the redhead in yelling. That seemed a bit overkill. Boomstick voiced his opinion. I liked it. Raiden. Smarter but much weaker. Immune to electricity. More fighting experience. Less extreme survival experience. Relies on electrical attacks, which were useless. Raiden is a clever and versatile combatant, but he was completely overwhelmed by Thor's strength. Was explained. Yeah, it took a flurry of attacks to send Thor flying, but the dude sent my dude flying away in only one or two, Meg said. And it also doesn't help that Raiden's main weapon, electricity, was completely useless. Boomstick added. Hey, it was useless on both of them. Kaminari clarified. Thor's lightning only boosted Raiden. Doesn't change the fact that Thor's endurance and strength won out against Raiden's. Kyuka said. Stronger, tougher and faster. Immune to electricity. Does not solely rely on electrical attacks. Mjolnir is ridiculously powerful. Arrogance only prolonged the fight. Consistently defeats Loki, who is much clever than Raiden. Add in Thor's Dino-busting hammer and it was game over. Boomstick continued. Remember, Mjolnir was forged in the core of a dying star. Wiz continued explaining as the screen showed a dying star and a series of calculations. When a star dies, it collapses into a super-dense neutron star. Even the smallest portion of this star can weigh up to 1,000,000 tons. Accurate. Melissa nodded. Raiden stood little chance against a blow like that, Wiz said. Well, at least Raiden found his place in the sun. Boomstick joke. Burn, Mina said. Quite literally too. The winner is Thor, Wiz announced. The group clapped for an awesome fight. Deku chuckling as Kuta mimicked some of Raiden's martial arts and Thor's punches. I think you may have jinxed yourself in this fight, dude, Zero said to a slumping Kaminari. First you said Raiden was you and he wasn't, and then you said he would win and he didn't. Shut up, Kaminari muttered. Next time on Death Battle, Boomstick announced. Magical music played as a familiar symbol of 3 golden triangles appeared on an equally familiar elf-looking warrior's hand, pulling out a sword from a stone and holding it up into the air. Hey, it's that Link guy from the Zelda one, Pony pointed out. Huh, guess we are seeing him fight sooner than expected, Satsuna said. The next fighter was shown as a young man with spiky blonde hair and black clothes carrying the largest sword any of them have ever seen and holding and swinging it no problem while casting spells. The hell kind of sword is that? Kamakiri exclaimed. It's almost as big as me. And where can I get it? The Silent Warriors. Link vs. Cloud. So Cloud is that other dude's name, Mineta said. His hair kind of reminds me of Bakugu's. Reminds you? Dude, they pretty much have the same hair, Kaminari exclaimed. Bakugu smirked, already feeling confident that this is another one of his counterparts. With the approval of Nizu, Mei pressed the play button and played the next fight.